Personally, I love a to-do list. I know that that's not everyone, but I live and die by a great to-do list. So this project management thing is totally my jam. I love to put every single thing into my project management because I love the satisfaction of checking something off of a list. Here in your focus tab, when you first log into Moxie, you'll see the work to be done. So this is based off of your project. So projects tasks that are created with a date, those are going to show up in your work to be done that's due today. So anything that is past due or due this actual day will show up here in your work. You can always click into each of those things as well and make any updates as necessary. You can also see what's coming up this week and what's coming up next week. Let's get fully into your projects, though, by clicking into our project management. So here you'll get an overview of every single project that you're working on. And each of these projects are kind of big things that you're thinking about, and tasks will be more granular details on how you get that project done. So we can click into a project to see some easy insights. So when you set up a project, it will be attached to a client, and you can set up a start date and an end date that will help show on your calendar if you choose. You can opt how you want to work with your clients on this project. So you can give them access to full collaboration and work together between you and them in their client portal. You can give them read-only collaboration, overview only, or you can totally hide the details about this project from their client portal if you choose. Same for time worked. You can show time worked, or you can hide the time that you've worked on this project. So let's say this is a recurring project. So I'm going to work on retainer by this project. So maybe I do want to show them, hey, this is how much time I've worked. And actually, you're getting really close to the maximum amount of time that I estimated to work on this project. But let's say you're working on a fixed rate project, then maybe you don't actually need to show the time worked. If you do have recurring time in your project, a retainer, in your project settings, you'll want to set up the amount, how often you are going to get paid this amount, and when you want to get paid. So that can either be in advance or after that time period has ended. And if you add in your hour estimate here, if there is an overage, so you track your time to this project, if there is an overage, you can say, I would like to get paid this amount additional. And that is your project settings. You can save each project also as a template. So if this is a project that you're going to do over and over and over again, you don't want to set up these fees again, you can choose to save this project as a template. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. Here in your project, you can see, you can add descriptions, you can add collaborators who are going to work with you on this project, and you can add in granular tasks. So in each of these projects, you can have a task. I've created a recurring task here, as you can see, that happens. I'm going to make this blog every X amount of time. So this is my list view of my projects or of my tasks within each project. You can also choose to see that in a board view or a kanban view. You can click and drag now and move each of these items into whichever of the statuses it's in. So if you like to see things more visually, this view is probably for you, or on a timeline. So if you would rather see this overlaid on what it's going to look like, you'll be able to see here are the projects and the time that I am working on it. And so then you can see which projects are overlaid over each other, so then you're never overbooked. So if you like a calendar view, this is like a Gantt chart for you. You can also change the times here by clicking and dragging if you need to make this project longer or shorter. Those are the three main views. So we have this list or table view, we have this board view, and we also have a timeline view. You can also set up recurring tasks. So clicking here on this arrow that looks like it's going over and over again, I can set up exactly the details that I want. I can set up how often it happens, when it starts, when it ends, and I can even set up a rolling due date if I like. You can also, if you are collaborating, you can make sure you assign this to the correct person person. Then this recurring task will create here in your tasks. Now, in each of these views, you're able to quickly update this task. So I can click and change the name here. I can update the status. I can change the priority. I can assign it to one of my collaborators. I can choose start and due dates, add a quick comment if I need to. And if there are subtasks, I can check those off as well. Or I can view the full details here and add in any comments. Here in your task management, you can use at mentions to let your collaborators know, hey, this part is done, this part needs your approval, or whatever that looks like, however you work with folks that you'll collaborate with. You can also see you can add manually some time worked here. If you need to track time granularly down to each task in your project, you can do that using our time tracker here in real time. You'll be able to choose your client, your project, and the task that you're working on if you choose, and then that time worked will show up per each task or project. You can add in notes per this project, and you'll also be able to see the invoices that are related to this project. So here are all of the invoices and their status that I have sent that are related to this specific project. Same for timesheets. So this is all time that I have tracked to this specific project of copywriting. You can also see a quick overview of the tasks that you've completed and the tasks that are in each status. When we go into projects, you can either see tasks or you can get an overview of projects. So in scope, you should think about that you have a client. Each client is going to assign you these projects, or you're going to choose to take on these projects, which are bigger in scope than a task. But this is designed to be flexible. So if you want to think about this in a different way, just think about clients are the biggest. They go into a smaller project and then an even smaller task. Then within a task, you can create subtasks that will help, that will make you a checklist. But only your tasks and your projects are going to be shown in your calendar. So you can see those here in your home base, each of your projects. And if you choose to, in calendar, you can choose to see your projects or your project tasks, and that will overlay here in your calendar so you can see what you're working on and how it sets out in your calendar as well.